In the studio with me today. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning.
Right, just out of interest, you are a very successful rally driver. I have my CV, your CV in front of me. Or correction, you have my CV, your CV in front of you. What gets a young girl who's, shall we say, forsake the normal life of a young girl and become a racing driver?
Well, the unfortunate thing is I did get banned. I lost my licence when I was 21 and it wasn't very good. I was banned for 6 months because I had really fast road cars and I had Super Imprezas, RX-7s, you know what, they were just phenomenal, but I lost my licence, so I just thought I'd take it to the track.
So, it's an unusual thing you were saying before we went on air. And this isn't something that I've ever come across before. Young lady sells her Subaru Impreza to buy a track car and a light commercial to pull it around with. I mean, it is unusual.
Yeah. Well, I went on a track day just before Christmas, and my car was overheating really badly, and I was just frightened that I wouldn't be able to get to work. So I just thought, well, I just need to get rid of it, get a track car, and then I'll just pull it around. But then I decided I was actually quite alright at driving on the track, and it was just pure luck really that I come across people that do it as well and help me get into it.
I mean, it's like a bit of a dawn of realisation when you're on a circuit. All of a sudden you think, I'm not bad at this. I'd be a lot better at this if I had a better car. So I conclude it was like this moment of, all of a sudden the light went on that said, Natalie Norman's quite good at this. I could probably make a bit of a do at this. How many years ago is this? When did you start?
Well, I used to have an MRS, and that was one of my first cars when I was 18, and I did a hill climb at Harewood. I did a few sprints as well, and then it was just from there really. But then I just had cars like my Impreza, which was absolutely, I do miss it now. He's called Simon. But I got my Mini. I had my first season last year. I got 2 podiums. To be honest, the Mini was really difficult because it was a challenge car, so it was just basically standard, but with everything taken out of it. And cars were running like 40 horsepower more than me, and they were about 200 kilograms lighter. But I still managed to get a podium. I got a second and a third. But yeah, it was quite exciting.
So last year was your first full season?
Yeah.
So, but from what I can gather, you've moved on now. I mean, you appear to have forsaken the pink Mini, and we're shifting into Honda Integras, are we not?
Yeah, it's a Honda Integra DC2. It is actually fitted with 2.2 Honda Accord engine Type R. So it's running about 275 horsepower, and it's actually almost 200 kilograms lighter than my Mini was. So it's quite, I took it out last night and it's just unbelievable.
So where did you take it out? I mean, is this thing road legal?
I had trade plates yesterday. I just needed to just test the tyres because they just needed scrubbing in. So I just thought I'd just, obviously keeping under the speed limits.
So basically, if you squint, I must confess, when I leave home every morning, especially on a Sunday morning to come to Ribble FM Towers, the last thing I actually ever think of doing is scrubbing my tyres in before I get halfway. What championship will you be driving in?
Well, I'm driving in the CNC Heads Sports and Saloons Championship next year. And then I'm also racing for Brisky Racing, which is, they actually support the touring cars for Team Hard. And I'm racing their Fiesta ST at Donington and Alton Park this year.
So besides your own Honda, you'll be racing other cars?
Yeah.
So, this is like the old-fashioned days. The one and only, and let's hope he's making a recovery, Sterling Moss. Drivers used to go to circuits, and that's how they made their wages. They'd drive this team's car in this race, that team's car in that race. They could end up driving in 3 or 4 races per afternoon or per day, always in different cars, sports cars, single-seaters. So Are you bringing back the good old days of the journeyman driver, where you turn up and if somebody's wagging a big enough wallet around, you'll hop in his car and blast it round for him?
I wish they'd actually pay me to do that, but unfortunately I need my sponsors to help me do that.
Right, after this we'll be talking with Natalie and finding out what is to come, how you get into racing. I mean, it's one question that I get quite asked a few times. How do you start racing? How do you start rallying? It's one of those things, one of the best answers is, well, just go and do it. But regrettably, it isn't quite that simple. But Natalie will tell us how.
Well, it was just pure for you, like, car enthusiasm. It's just from seeing like the Fast and Furious when you was at school and things like that. Everything's just phenomenal what they do. But there is one person that is actually my idol, and I learned a lot about her in school, and it is Natalies. And it's just fortunate that my dad decided to get a car that was very similar to hers, and he let me drive it at Townley, and it was just my dream. And seeing a woman who was a model and who could drive like that, it was just my idol. I wanted to be her when I was younger.
I mean, that's one thing. Helen Nice was a model, a dancer, Grand Prix driver, Bugatti specialist. In a roundabout way, you're following in her footsteps because you do modelling. You are a grid girl.
Yeah, I am for touring cars. You know what? That's the best seat in the house. I advise everybody to do it.
If you wonder what a grid girl is, she's the one that stands in front of the car, looks exceedingly pretty, given the average ugliness of most male racing drivers, and has a sign in her hands that tells everybody who it is that sat in the car beneath the helmet. But to take it up, I mean, what were your first steps to take up? Who did you go and see?
Well, it was the leader of Team Hard, and it was Tony, and I actually did asked to how much it costs to be a touring car driver, because that is where I'd rather be, is actually in the car rather than standing in front of it. But then he just said, look, you can come and just do it at Knockhill at Scotland. I did, and I really enjoyed it, but I've also been talking to him about, he has a few racing teams. He does GT4 as well, and that's where I want to be rather than touring cars.
I mean, it must be quite worrying when, shall we say, somebody sat in their British touring car on the grid. The grid girl in front of them turns around, walks up to him and says, by the way, you're getting Lodge Corner wrong. You need to be doing this at Stowe. You're just not getting... You wonder why you sat back here on the grid. This is the reason why. I mean, you'll be the only one, really, won't you, that, shall we say, stands on the grid and sits on the grid.
Yeah, I do have a simulator as well, and I've been trying to beat all the touring car drivers' times around Alton Park. I'm nearly there, but I'll be best watch the backs, to be honest, because I will be in that seat one day.
But the first thing you've got to do, of course, is apply for and get your racing licence. How do you exactly do this?
Well, you have to go through your ARDs. You do need to go through a test, which you do need a written test, and you do like a few laps around Alton Park, I did mine at Alton Park. And just to prove you're safe enough to be on the track, as it is a dangerous sport, like, you have to wear fireproof, everything's Nomex, even your boots, from your socks to your, you have Nomex underwear as well. And it's very dangerous, but you're strapped in and it's safe once you're in there, but it is once you crash. It's sometimes you can walk away, but sometimes you can't.
I mean, the one thing about Nomex is that what racing drivers refer to as their Nomex are the overalls you see them wearing, from Formula One guys all the way down to those starting out. This stuff is, what I will say is, it's very cosy to wear on hot days. It definitely keeps you cosy. Somebody said, how do you go to the toilet? Because when I used to do it, I used to have, shall we say, a large volume of water inside with me, if at all possible. You don't go. The sweat just pours out of you. Because they always say it's men that sweat, ladies perspire or glisten. Probably, given what you do, the modelling and everything, so when you get out of a car, you'll need to go and disappear and just do your hair, etc., before everybody sees you, because you're not a pretty sight when you get out of a car, are you?
No, my hair, it's like I've got out of the shower. My old Mini didn't have any windows, and when it was a hot day at Alton Park, I had to, on my sighting lap, which is like the slow lap as you're going in, I had to have the door open all the way around.
What do your friends have to say about this? I mean, or are you like a lot of people who race? Your friends are within the world of motor racing.
I have very supportive friends. Like one of my friends drives me to the track because I can't drive. I don't have a towing licence, but he takes me everywhere. So it is, and I've known him for years as well. So it's really good that everyone's on my side. But I have had people that aren't, and it does stop you. But you've just not got to give up really.
I mean, I said it the other week talking to somebody, and I'll say it again. When you're racing, it isn't gender specific. I mean, there are clubs and organisations for lady rally drivers and lady racing drivers. But when you're in the car and you are, as the saying goes, trading paint, it's the car next to you, there's a driver behind its wheel wearing the same type of overalls that you are, wearing the same type of helmet, and you want to be in that corner before they are, and they want to be in that corner before you are, and the gender of the driver doesn't come into it. Do you find that some drivers are more aggressive towards you? Do you find some give way? Because I'll be quite honest, if I had a lady racing driver next to me, I didn't bother giving way.
Yeah, especially on track days, you get the track day heroes as well, that they see a girl in a pink Mini and assume that she can't drive. I've actually got a video on YouTube where I'm overtaking a Lotus Elise who was actually teasing me before, saying how many times he could lap me. So it's on the 18th and it's at Alton Park, so it's quite local. I also do like test days and track days, like I'm on at Three Sisters at the end of the month, and I'm also going to be on the 11th of Feb as well at Alton Park. Feel free to come along, I will take you out in the car if you want to experience a woman driver.
And the other thing is you're a member of an organisation that is there to encourage and promote lady racing drivers, how to get into it. What's it called again? It's
Motorsport Woman. What it does, there's a few racers that race throughout the country who are women. Well, you can watch us how we do, where we are. We aim for, we're quite high, like there's a few of us that are in GT4. We'll hopefully get a sprint series of all women as well, but we're here to support obviously younger women that want to try and get into it. Well, I will be at Pendle Powerfest in May, and just to go through it really, what you need to do to get there, because I've basically done it from scratch. I've worked hard and it's just pure determination to get where I am now, but I'm not stopping yet.
I mean, it's absolutely unreserved, blatant, barefaced plug for Pendle Powerfest, since I'll be there, and Ribble FM and Sunday Driver will be there. So will your cars be there for people to look at?
Yeah, hopefully I'll have my go-kart as well, and my Integra there. Obviously we can't drive around, but I'd love to. We need to have a track there now.
And if anybody wants to follow you, I mean, how do they follow you? I conclude you'll have social media and Instagram and things like that. How do people follow Natalie Norman?
Well, I do have an Instagram and also through Facebook, but we're also doing a bit of a blog as well through Motorsport Woman. It is just follow Natalie Bella Racing and you should get me, and hopefully I can give some advice. Just message me if you need anything.
So, according to this bit of paper I've just been handed, like they do in all the best newsrooms, Facebook is Natalie Victoria Norman, and Instagram is at Natalie Bell Racing. Once again, that's Natalie Victoria Norman for Facebook, and at Natalie Bell Racing for Instagram. From what I can gather, if for any reason you were taken off Instagram might as well pack up. You've got the most phenomenal, incredible number of followers. I mean, it says something for what you've done and for what you've achieved to have. I mean, people don't just follow people because it strikes them as a good idea. They follow them because there's a good reason. And from what I can see, we've got one of England's rising motor racing stars here, irrespective of whether it's male or female. So, I mean, this year they'll be able to follow you at various circuits, follow you on Instagram. Besides the Pendle Powerfest show, you were saying, I know it's 12 months off, you're going to be at the Autosport show in 2018.
Yeah, hopefully our organisation, we will be having a stand at Autosport. So we will be able to give advice on how to get where we are and help you get where you are.
Right, Natalie Norman, thank you very much. And the other thing that'll help you spot Natalie is this season when she's racing her Integra, you will find it blasting past you at great speed, probably into the lead and onto the podium, carrying Ribble FM logos down the side. Natalie, thanks very much for joining me on Ribble FM, and this certainly won't be the last of your appearances.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, thanks Natalie, and we shall be back right after this.